Check check, mic 1, 2, I said softly into the headset. Clear, the sound guy replied. My hands were shaking. I wiped them on my dress when no one was looking. Lira. Cashin's voice came from behind me. You got this. I turned, heart pounding. He was leaning against a curtain, grinning like he always did when he knew I was nervous. You think so? I whispered. I know so. He said, brushing imaginary lint off my shoulder. They're gonna eat you up tonight. You're the real deal. I smiled, just a little. I'm terrified. He leaned in, eyes warm. That's how you know it's real. The crowd was roaring. My name echoed, Lira Vale, rising star. This was it. I stepped onto the stage, the lights hit me. Like fire. I opened my mouth. Nothing. Silence. Not a sound came out. I tapped the mic, still nothing. Is it off? I asked. But no one could hear. The music started. I missed the cue. My heart dropped. The crowd started murmuring. Mic problem. Someone laughed. No talent. Someone else muttered louder. I turned helplessly toward the wings. Cashin was there, watching. Smiling. My legs nearly buckled. No. That smile. It wasn't supportive, it was satisfied. The music stopped, the laughter didn't. I ran. I sat in the hallway, dress wrinkled, tears hot on my face. Don't cry here, Dahlia snapped. Striding toward me. You're making a scene. My mic excuses. She said coldly. The label's pulling out, sponsors too. Do you know how much you just cost me? But someone tampered with it. I get a grip. She barked. You're not the first pretty girl who choked. I didn't choke, you humiliated yourself, she hissed, and me, you're done. She walked away before I could say another word. Cashin was already there, crouching beside me. Double quotes. Hey, he said softly. I looked at him, my throat dry. You smiled. He blinked. What? Backstage. You smiled. He laughed nervously. I was trying to reassure you. No. I whispered. You looked happy. He tilted his head. Lira, come on, you're not thinking straight. My mic was working during soundcheck. It must have shorted. These things happen. No one else's mic cut out. He shrugged. Maybe yours was faulty. I stared at him. It was working 5 minutes before I went on. Why would I sabotage you? He said. Voice sharp now. I supported you since day one. Exactly, I said slowly. You knew everything, my lyrics, my vocal tracks. You were there for every single part of it. His eyes flickered. I stood. My legs were still shaking. I need to leave, I said. Lira, don't be like this. I saw your face, Cashin. He reached for my arm. You're upset. Let's talk later. After you've calmed down. I pulled away. No. I think I just woke up. Backstage was a blur of whispers and pitying stares. I walked past them all, trying to hold it together. In the hallway, I bumped into Rhea. Her eyes widened. Lira, I am so sorry. You were there during rehearsal, I said quietly. She glanced around. Yeah. I thought something was weird when Cashin asked me to switch mics with him earlier. But what? She swallowed hard. He said his mic was acting up and asked me to swap. I didn't think. So I ended up with his mic. She looked guilty. I didn't realize. I stared at her. I didn't mean to. She started. You didn't do it, I said, stepping back. But you knew something was off. She nodded once. Please don't tell anyone I said anything. I didn't answer. I just walked away. That night, I locked myself in my apartment. I sat in front of my old keyboard, staring at the keys. But I couldn't touch them. Couldn't sing. Couldn't speak. The silence was louder than anything I'd heard on that stage. Cashin took everything from me. And worse, he did it with a smile. That was the moment I decided something inside me had to die. My voice, my trust, my fear. Whatever it was, it died that night, and something else opened its eyes, something cold. Something that watched him on TV winning with my songs and thought, you smiled when I fell. I'll smile when you burn. I told you this would happen, Mom hissed, arms folded like a judgment. I warned you not to chase fairy tales. I stared at the cold cup of tea she hadn't bothered to warm up. It was one mistake. I whispered, someone tampered with the mic. Oh, please, she scoffed, stop blaming others for your failure. Dad didn't even look up from his phone. Dad, I tried. He grunted, your mother's right. I blinked. You both think I humiliated myself. You? Embarrassed this family, Mom snapped. Do you know what the neighbors are saying? I was sabotaged. By who? She challenged. Cashin. That sweet boy who always stood by you? My throat burned. He's not sweet. You're delusional. I stood. I shouldn't have come home. No. She said. You? Shouldn't have tried to be something you're not. Dad muttered. It's time to grow up, Lira. I left. Late shift again. The janitor asked, handing me gloves. I nodded and took them up. The silence of empty hallways was a strange comfort. No crowds, no lights, no laughter. Just the low hum of vending machines and my thoughts. Hey, you hear the news? The janitor said. Cashin reached just one song of the year. My fingers froze. He's a genius, that one. Says he wrote it himself. I nodded slowly. Yeah, genius. I scrubbed the same corner twice. The lyrics played in my head. My lyrics. He didn't even change the bridge. At home, I sat on the floor, back against the wall, TV glowing in the dark. Cashin stood on stage, fake humble smile in place. This one's for the dreamers, he said. Never give up. Laughter bubbled up my throat. Dry and bitter. Then came a song, my song. My words, my melody, my story. He was performing me. Tell me I imagined it. I whispered to the empty room. Tell me it wasn't mine. I pulled up my old voice memos. There it was. Same chords, same hook. Even the rasp in the pre-chorus, my rasp. I hit play. My voice filled the room raw, unsure, real. And suddenly, I hated it. I slammed the laptop shut. Are you ever going to speak again? Mom asked on the phone. I didn't answer. She sighed. Don't call me unless you have something worthwhile to say. Click. I passed a bar on my walk to work. Cashin's face was on every screen. Future of pop, the announcer said. I kept walking. I passed a street performer, off-key, but brave. People toss coins. He looked up. You sing? I shook my head and walked faster. Can you hum? The janitor asked one night. I stared at him. He grinned. Didn't mean to pry. Just, you always look like you have music in your bones. I smiled faintly. He nodded. Some people bleed words, others bleed silence. I paused. What do you bleed? He thought. Rust. We laughed. It was the first real laugh I'd had in months. Later, in the storage closet, I whispered the chorus of my song under my breath. Just a note. A single note. It sounded like pain. Like betrayal, like truth. I pressed record. No plan, no audience. Just proof that I still existed, that I still had something. Cashin took my voice from the world. But not from me. Not forever. Don't look at the camera. I didn't. Keep your hood up, the man said. Trust takes time. I nodded. He flicked on a desk lamp. I'm Kian. I stayed quiet. He studied me for a long moment. I saw what Cashin did to you. I blinked once. He did it to me too, he said. Different methods, same knife. I tilted my head. You wrote Hololight, didn't you? My fingers curled. It was yours, not his. He didn't even tweak the bridge, idiot, still. I said nothing. I can help you take him down, Kian said. But I need your silence. I nodded. I need your songs and your rage. That I have plenty of. You trust her? A man asked the next day. She has more reason than I do. Kian replied. Doesn't mean she won't run. She won't. Fine. I'm Ezra. I do damage legally and digitally. I raised a brow. Kian smirked. He's a lawyer and a hacker. Allegedly, Ezra added. You don't talk much. Huh. I just stared at him. I like her already, he muttered. Quiet people don't screw up the plan. Name? Kian asked me later that night. I shrugged. Ghost name. You want to write, right? Need an alias. I scribbled a name on a napkin and passed it over. He read it and smiled. Dervale. That's clever. I smirked. You want revenge or do you want music back? I hesitated. Both. I whispered. Good answer. We worked at night, always night. Kian's studio was underground literally. It smelled like dust and static. You like this chord? He asked. I hummed a note. Nice, your ear's still sharp. I handed him a page. You wrote lyrics? I nodded. He scanned it. It's brutal. I raised an eyebrow. I like it, he said quickly. I mouthed the melody. He played it back. Then froze. What? He looked up. Cashin would sing this. I didn't move. He narrowed his eyes. You want him to? I nodded slowly. You want him to steal it? I nodded again. He grinned. Now we're speaking the same language, babe. Track uploaded, Ezra said 2 weeks later. That fast. I'm out. Went through his intern. Kian said. Kid's desperate for clout. Think he'll bite? I whispered. He already did, Ezra said. Cashin recorded a teaser last night. My stomach twisted. You okay? Kian asked. I nodded. Keep going. I watched the live stream from Kian's laptop. Cashin stood under bright lights. Smug as ever, this next track, he said, is raw. Came from somewhere deep. I laughed under my breath. It's called Rust Dreams. I looked at Kian. He gave a small nod. He took the bait. Cashin sang. Every word was mine. Ezra, Kian said. Already rolling. Got metadata, IP logs, studio files, session leaks, all pointing straight to him. I clenched my jaw. You ready to move? Ezra asked. I met his eyes. Not yet. Kian blinked. Why? I want more. Ezra grinned. Told you she had teeth. Later, Kian handed me earbuds. New mix. Your version. I listened. My voice, my melody, my words. Pure. Powerful. He watched me. You wrote a monster. I wrote my truth. And now. I looked up. Now I take it back. He smiled for the first time. You're not afraid anymore. Are you? He asked. I shook my head. Good, he said, because this is war. You see this? Kian shoved his phone toward me. Your track's trending, again. I squinted at the screen. Hashtag North Silence was everywhere. Number for globally, Ezra added. Cashin's fans think he wrote it. Idiots, I didn't. Expect it to blow up that fast, I whispered. You should have, Kian said. You bled truth into that song. I wasn't ready, too late for that. I looked down. The song was climbing without a face, a name, or a voice. Ezra leaned against the desk. We keep the mask on for now, I said. Let them guess. Cashin's nervous, Kian muttered. He's been sniffing, he knows it's me, I asked. He suspects and he hired a fixer. Who? Silas Grover. My stomach dropped. Yeah. Ezra said, that's Silas. If Cashin's a knife, Silas is a poison. Cashin sent someone to my apartment. Kian told me the next night. He pretended to be a journalist. What did he ask? I whispered. Who North Silence was. I fed him garbage. Ezra smirked. I gave him a fake IP trail. Iceland. I raised an eyebrow. What? Felt cold enough, Kian sighed. We're buying time, not winning. Then we move faster, I said. He looked at me. You really want this? I nodded. He stole everything. He made me a ghost. Kian's voice dropped. Then let's haunt him. The message came late. Rhea, I need to talk, alone. It's about that night, please. I hadn't heard from her in 2 years. I typed back. Where? She replied, old train station. Back platform, midnight. You sure about this? Kian asked. She was there. She saw it. She was silent. Ezra muttered. She's speaking now. She could be bait. Kian warned. I'll go. I said. Alone. He hesitated. Take this. He handed me a mic wire. Records everything. Hidden. In your sleeve. I nodded and walked into the dark. Lira? The voice stopped me cold. I stepped forward. Rhea? She turned. Her eyes were red. You came. Why now? I couldn't keep it in. You stood there. I said. Watch me choke. I was scared. Of what? Him. Rhea nodded. Silas threatened me. Said if I talked, I'd lose everything. You still didn't stop it. I know. Her voice cracked. I was a coward. But I'm done being one, then talk. I saw him switch the mic pack backstage. Cashin. I saw him do it. My breath hitched. And I stayed quiet. She whispered. I thought maybe he'd help me rise too. But he didn't. No. He used me, then threw me out like trash. I looked at her. Why tell me now? Because I want to help you burn him down. Back at the studio, I played the recording. Kian's jaw clenched. It's enough to bury him. Ezra paced. Cashin will panic. Silas won't let him fall alone. We leak it. Kian asked. Not yet. I said. I want him to feel the cracks first. Kian smiled. You're ruthless. I met his eyes. I learned from the best. 2 nights later, Rhea didn't answer my texts. She ghosted. Ezra asked. Maybe she's scared. Kian said. No, I said. Something's wrong. I tried her again. Voicemail. Tried her. Producer. She hasn't shown up for 2 days, he said. She was supposed to record last scene? I asked. Train station. Ezra cursed. It's Silas. Has to be. What do we do? Kian asked. We make noise, I said. He blinked. Public very. Cashin's face lit up my screen. He was smirking again. Let's talk about this North Silence thing. The interviewer said. He laughed. Just another internet ghost. You think it's someone you know? Not at all, he said. But if they keep stealing my sound, we'll have legal problems. I slammed the laptop shut. Time to flip. The spotlight. I whispered. We dropped the track at midnight. Hollow truth, my voice raw. Lyrics razor-sharp. The chorus hit like thunder. Ezra launched the campaign. Hashtag he stole her voice when theories erupted. They say it's about Cashin. Kian said. It is, I whispered. People are digging. Let them. The next morning. My phone buzzed. Blocked number. I answered. Leave it alone, Silas. You're poking a bear, he said. I didn't reply. I know who you are, he added. I know what you're doing. You afraid of a girl with no name? I whispered. He laughed coldly. You're talented, I'll give you that. But this ends now. I hung up. Let him sweat, I said. Kian looked at me. What if he finds you? He won't. Ezra cracked his knuckles. If he does, he'll regret it. They found her in the river. Kian's voice cracked when he said it. No bruises. No signs of struggle, Ezra muttered. They called it suicide. No, I said, trembling. She was scared, but she wanted to fight. She didn't jump. Kian agreed. She sent me something. What? I slid the flash drive onto the desk. It came 2 hours before the news broke. Ezra plugged it into his laptop. His face turned pale. Holy. He swallowed. These are audio files. Play it, I said. The first clip. Click.cassin. You're nothing without me. You think helping her will save you? Rhea? I'm not afraid of you anymore. Cashin. Then you're stupider than you look. Kian stood frozen. That's his voice. He threatened her. I whispered, and now she's gone. Ezra shook his head. We leaked this, he's finished. Not yet. Kian turned to me. Why not? She died for this. I won't waste it on likes and reposts. Ezra blinked. What are you saying? I want him to know it's me. You'll expose yourself. I'll burn him. Good evening, Norsalance fans, the podcast host said. Tonight's anonymous guest has a story that'll ruin you. I leaned into the mic. I'm the girl who never sang again. I whispered. The host froze. Wait, your name, not important, then speak. I hit play on Rhea's clip. The audio blared. Silence. And then chaos. He's trending, Ezra said, spinning his screen toward me. But not in a good way. #CASSIAN killed Rhea. Kian read aloud. Even his fans are turning. He's issuing a statement tonight, Ezra said. Wants to clear his name. He can try, I said. The truth has claws now. The lights flickered. We gathered in Kian's studio, all watching Cashin's live stream. He looked pale. Dressed in black, crocodile tears ready. I'm heartbroken, he said. Rhea was a dear friend. Liar, I hissed. I never heard these recordings are fake. Wait for it, Kian muttered. CASSIAN continued. People love drama. They'll believe anything if it bleeds, Ezra typed rapidly. What are you doing? I asked. Uploading the original file metadata. Time-stamped. Location-lock. Double quotes. Kian grinned. Proof he can't erase. I looked back at the screen. I'm innocent, Cashin said, and I will sue. I leaned in and whispered. Try. Later that night, Ezra closed his laptop. 15 outlets want the full interview. We can choose who breaks the storm. Send it to all of them, I said. Let it roar. Kian rubbed his eyes. He'll come for us now. All of us. I hope he does, I said. I want him desperate. Ezra looked at me. You're changing. I nodded. I died with Rhea. This is someone new. 3 days passed. Cashin went silent. Until Kian's phone rang. It's him. I stepped forward, put it on speaker. Kian answered. Nice trick, Cashin said. Really impressive. You killed her, I said. He paused. Lira, my chest tightened. You're the ghost. I'm your grave. He laughed. You think music will save you? No, I said. But it'll destroy you. I made you, he hissed. You broke me. I can still finish the job. You already did, I said. And now? I'm the echo that never dies. Click, Silas will come next. Ezra said. He doesn't bluff. I'm not hiding anymore, I said. You're not bulletproof either. I'm not afraid. Kian looked at me carefully. Then what are you? I stared into the dark. I'm the voice they tried to bury, and now? I'm the fire under their throne. He didn't speak for a long time. Then finally, let's end it. Mic check, Kian said softly. You ready? I nodded. Yeah. Hit record. He pressed the button. Then stepped back. I stood in the center of the booth. Headphones on, fingers trembling. This is for Rhea, I whispered. Go. He? SAID. I closed my eyes and sang. Not sweet. Not soft. Raw. Each note cracked like thunder. My voice wasn't polished, it was pain. It was rage. Then, halfway through, we dropped Atreya's voice, spliced between verses. Rhea, he said no one would believe me. But if you're hearing this, please don't let him win. I sang again. Louder. I gave you every breath I had and you stole the last one left. The final note broke something in me. I pulled the headphones off. Kian didn't move. Say something, I said. He blinked like waking up. I felt every second. Good. He nodded. Let's mix it. The track dropped at midnight. By morning, it was everywhere. This new anonymous ballad is the most gutting piece of art I've heard in years. One review read, who is the ghost with the voice of fury? And is that Rhea Lynn in the background? Ezra called us. You're #1 on IndieWire. 3 hours in. Kian stared at the screen. Lira, you did this. No, I said. We did. He turned toward me. They'll come after us. They already are. He hesitated. Does it scare you? I paused a little. His shoulders dropped. Me too. 2 days later, we sat in his apartment. Phones buzzing nonstop. Read this, Kian said. Holding his phone. Cashin accused of buying out copyright credits. Multiple artists stepped forward. I smiled faintly. It's unraveling. He sat beside me. I'm not good at this. At what? Being okay. I looked at him. Neither am I. He laughed under his breath. Cool. I shifted closer. What happened to you, Kian? He shrugged. Old manager. Same as you, different. Method. Took everything I had, said I wasn't marketable. You were? He shook his head. No. I just wasn't useful to him anymore. I nodded. I get that. His eyes softened. You never deserved any of this. Neither did Rhea. We sat in silence. Then Kian whispered. Do you think we'll win? I don't care anymore, I said. I just want him to lose. That night, Ezra messaged. Cashin's sponsors dropped him. Atlantic pulled the plug on his next album. Your song hit 20 million streams, I smiled. Then? He went live. He's desperate. He's naming names. I opened the stream. Cashin's face was flushed, eyes wide. He looked cornered. I've done nothing wrong. He shouted, this anonymous smear campaign is a lie. That voice isn't even real. He froze mid-sentence, a comment flew by. That's Rhea's voice. Stop pretending. Then another, you stole Lira Vale's lyrics, we have receipts. Cashin's jaw clenched, I made her, without me, she was nothing. I stared at the screen. Wow. Kian whispered. He's unraveling in 4K later. Kian stood in the doorway, you didn't even flinch. What? Watching him fall apart. You looked calm. I met his eyes. Because I'm not doing this for me. He looked confused, then who? Every girl who never got to scream. He stepped closer. I've seen so many people break. You're the only one who burned. I shook my head. Not true. I broke too. I just learned to sharpen the pieces. Another day. Another headline. Cashin Reese, the fall of a fraud. Ezra texted, press wants a statement. They're begging to interview the ghost singer. I replied, not yet. Kian walked in holding 2 mugs. You didn't sleep again. I didn't want to. He handed me tea. Your voice, it sounds different now. Better. No. Worse. But in a beautiful way. I laughed. Thanks, I mean it. It hurts to hear you sing. But that's what makes it matter. I stared at him. He added, you're not just singing anymore, you're bleeding. And they feel it. I looked down at my cup. It's the only way I know how to talk now. He nodded slowly. And I think I'm finally ready to listen. You sure about this? Kian asked. I zipped up my jacket completely. He leaned against the wall. You're wearing the wire? I tapped my collar. Battery's full. I don't like this. You don't have to. Kian crossed his arms. He's dangerous when cornered. I'm not scared of him anymore. He looked at me. That's what scares me. I didn't respond. I walked out before he could stop me. Cashin waited at the old cafe on 6th, the one we used to sneak into when we were nobodies. He stood when he saw me. Same fake smile. Same eyes. Lira? He said. I sat across from him. Cashin. He looked thinner, paler, shakier. You look different. I am. I didn't think you'd come, you begged. He exhaled. I wanted to talk, so talk. He glanced around. You ever miss the old days? No. Not even a little. I stared at him. Get to the point. He swallowed. I made a mistake. Which one? He blinked. All of them, I guess. I leaned forward. Why, Cashin? His eyes met mine. Because I deserved it more. My throat tightened. Deserved what? The stage, the spotlight, the success. I worked just as hard, harder even, and no one looked at me. Everyone only heard you. I kept my voice steady. So you stole my voice. I didn't steal it, he said quickly. I borrowed it. I almost laughed. Borrowed? I knew you'd bounce back. You always did. Until you crushed me. I didn't mean to ruin you, Lira. But you did, and you smiled when it happened. He looked down. I hated that smile. I see it in every photo now. I see it. In nightmares. Good? He looked up again. But you were always stronger than me. I leaned in. That's what scared you. He didn't deny it. I gave you everything. Cashin, my trust. My music, my heart. I loved you, no. I said. You loved what I could give you. His voice cracked. I miss you? I'm not the girl you knew. I know. I pressed my hands to the table. Do you regret it? He hesitated. Not at first. I didn't flinch, he added. But when I saw what they did to you, how they erased you, I tried to fix it. You didn't fix anything. He blinked rapidly. I thought, maybe if I made it big enough, I could bring you back in. As what? Your shadow again? He went quiet. I smiled, cold, sharp. The same way he had smiled when I lost everything. He saw a dot, and he knew, Lira. He whispered, I didn't think it'd end like this. It didn't have to. He shook his head. You're going to destroy me. I already have. His hands trembled. What do you want? I wanted the truth. You have it. No, I said. Now they do. His eyes widened. I stood. He scrambled to his feet. What did you do? Check your inbox. He pulled out his phone. The audio was already viral. His confession. Every word, the last sound on the file. My voice singing the same melody he'd stolen, followed by silence. His face drained of color. You recorded me. I nodded. You lied. You lied first. You set me up. You walked into it. He dropped into his seat like the air had left him. It's all gone. Not yet, I said. But by morning, you'll be nothing. I walked out. Kian was waiting at the corner. How'd it go? I held up the wire. He nodded. Good. I started walking. But he caught my arm. Wait. What? You good? I got what I needed. That's not what I asked. I pulled away. Don't worry about me. I do. Why? Because I've seen people get revenge, Lira. but I've never seen someone enjoy it. I didn't respond. He stepped in front of me. What's left when he's gone? What happens then? I rebuild. He shook his head. You erase. I looked away. Kian whispered, he deserved it, I know. But I need to know if you're still in there. I'm here. He reached out, gently touched my wrist, then please don't disappear into this. I met his eyes. For a second, the cold inside me cracked, then I turned away. By midnight, it was everywhere. Cashin Reese exposed, full audio confession leaked. Hashtag Lira Vale trended worldwide. Sponsors terminated contracts, his label dropped him. Fans demanded apologies, lawsuits began. Cashin vanished from the internet within days. But I didn't smile, not like I thought I would. Kian sat across from me a week later, still quiet. He said, I'm thinking about who I am now. He tilted his head. Do you want to sing again? I paused. Someday. He waited, and until then, I looked at him. And for the first time in years, I let out a breath that didn't shake. I write. I rebuild. I become someone new. He smiled. Good. I added, but I'll never be quiet again. You did it, Kian said. The backstage lights were too bright. The crowd still screamed. I could barely hear him. It's over. Lira, Cashin, Dahlia, all of them. I adjusted the mic in my hand. Is it? He stepped closer. What do you mean? They lost. But I didn't win. You're on the biggest stage in the country, so? So you took your voice back. I looked at the blinking sign above us. Nor silence live, I whispered. It doesn't sound like me anymore. Kian frowned. That was your voice out there. It was a voice. He didn't say anything. I stared at the curtain. They cheered. But I didn't feel it. You were flawless. But I wasn't real. He exhaled. You've changed. I had to, and now I don't know who I am. Kian touched my shoulder. You're free. I shook my head. Freedom isn't peace. After the show, we walked down the alley behind the venue. The cold air was sharp. Honest, I preferred it. You want to disappear again? Kian asked. No. Then what? I don't want to be who I was. But I don't want to become what they made me either. You're allowed to just be Lira. No, I said. I'm not. He stopped. Why not? Because the world watched me burn. And now they're clapping like it's an encore. People love comebacks. This isn't a comeback, I said. It's a requiem. For who? For the girl they killed. He looked down. You don't have to bury her yet. I already did. Kian was quiet. Later that night, I stood in front of the mirror in the green room, wiped off the heavy stage makeup. My real face looked unfamiliar. You still don't see her. Kian said behind me. See who? The girl you were. She's gone. She's in there. He said. Hurt. But not gone. I stared at my reflection. She trusted too easily. She sang like the world would catch her. Maybe the world will this time. No, I said. I don't need catching. I need grounding. Kian stepped closer. Then stand as you. Not as a victim, not as a ghost. I met his eyes, and if I fall again, I'll still be here. The next morning, I visited the rooftop where I used to rehearse before. Everything fell apart. The wind was louder than I remembered. I pulled out my phone. Press play. It was her voice in my old recordings. Hopeful, soft, naive. I listened for a while. Then I hit delete. Goodbye, I whispered. That evening, Kian found me in the studio. New song? He asked. No lyrics yet. He glanced at the notes. Does it have a name? I shrugged. Not yet. Want help? I want space. He nodded. I'll wait outside. Before he turned, I said. But not too far. He smiled. Never. A week passed. The media storm kept buzzing. Cashin's lawsuits, Dahlia's resignation, Rhea's name trending again. But I didn't answer calls. I didn't do interviews. I just wrote. Late one night, Kian walked in with takeout, still writing, still breathing. He sat beside me. You okay? No. That's fair. I don't know who I am without the pain. He handed me a fork. Then let's figure it out, slowly, together. I ate in silence for a moment, then said, I want to sing. But not for anyone. Kian leaned back. Then sing for you. And if they stop listening? He looked at me. Then let them. I posted a single clip on my private page, just my voice, no filters, no effects. Raw, quiet. I didn't expect anyone to care. But someone commented, this sounds like healing. Another wrote, it's not a performance, it's a heartbeat. I smiled later. Kian joined me on the balcony. Good comments, not fans. I said, just humans, that's better. It is. He turned to me. What now? I live, that's vague, it's enough. We sat in the quiet. Then I whispered, thank you. For what? For not trying to fix me. He nodded. You were never broken. Just buried, and now you're digging out. I looked up at the sky. I think I'm ready to begin. Again. You're not going to answer that, Kian asked. I stared at my phone. Unknown number. But I knew. It's him. Kian stood still. Cashin. I nodded once. He's tried 5 times. You don't owe him anything, I know. But, you're going to call back, I am? Kian looked down. Want me to stay? No. But thank you. He hesitated at the door. If you need me. I won't. I called. Hello. His voice was smaller. Brittle, it's me, I. Didn't think you'd call back. Say what you need to say. He paused. I lost everything. I said nothing. I deserve that. I know I do. Still. I waited. I wanted to say, I'm sorry. For what, exactly? For ruining your career. For stealing your work. For everything. I stay quiet. I wake up every day wishing I could undo it. You can't, I know. I could hear him breathing, heavy, uneven. I'm not asking for forgiveness, good. I just wanted to hear your voice again. I almost hung up. But I didn't. It's quiet now, he said. No fans, no calls, just silence. I let the words settle. I used to think silence was peaceful, he continued. But now it feels like punishment. I whispered. It isn't. He waited. It's reflection. He swallowed. Then I've done a lot of that. Too late. No. I healed. I said. You stay broken. He didn't argue. I used to think destroying you would make me feel whole. Did it? No, I said. But walking away did. He choked back something, a sob, a cough. I didn't care which. You didn't have to call me. I didn't do it for you. He exhaled. I figured. You used my voice to climb, I said. But it never belonged to you. It never should have. No, I said. It never did. Silence stretched. Lira? He said. Do you ever miss the way we were? I closed my eyes. No. I miss who I thought you were. I miss her too. She never existed. I'm sorry. I didn't reply. I hope he keeps singing. He said quietly. I am. Even after all of it? Especially after. Do people still listen? They hear me now? He said nothing. I waited. But he had no more words. So I gave him the only one I had left. Goodbye. And then I ended the call. Later, Kian returned. Well? He apologized. And I listened. Kian studied my face and I walked away. He exhaled. That's strength. No, that's peace. He sat beside me. You okay? Yes, you're sure? I didn't feel hate, I said. I didn't even feel pity. What did you feel? Nothing, I whispered. And it was beautiful. Weeks passed. The world moved on. Cashin faded from headlines. I didn't. But I didn't chase it either. One night, after a set at a tiny venue downtown, a girl came up to me. Nervous. Why died your voice? It saved me. I blinked. How? I was afraid to speak. But your songs, they made me feel like silence could still be powerful. I smiled, gently. It can. She nodded. You're not loud. I don't need to be. She grinned. That's what echoes, and she was right. Some voices don't need to be loud to echo forever. You really named it Echo Fire? Kian asked, raising an eyebrow. I nodded. Echo for what they couldn't silence. Fire for what they tried to burn. He grinned, dramatic. You like it? I love it. I leaned back in the studio chair. It's not just a label. It's a home for who? For anyone who's ever been shut out, shut up, or shut down. Kian's smile faded a little. So, yes, exactly. He reached for one of the demo tapes on the desk. Who's this one? Her name's Junie, 17. They told her she wasn't marketable. I told her to scream louder. He laughed. You really do have a type. Yeah. Broken. Things that still shine. He looked at me, quiet, thoughtful. You included. I met his eyes. Especially me. Later that night, I sat alone in the booth, mic off, lights dimmed. You good in there? Kian's voice came through the intercom. I'm just thinking. Dangerous, I smirked. Do you ever wonder if we're really healing? Or just hiding? He didn't answer right away. Finally, I think healing feels like hiding at first. But it's different. How hiding means you're scared. Healing means you're done being scared. I closed my eyes. Then maybe I'm healing. You definitely are. Silence stretched, warm for once. I said softly, I don't want the old life back. Good. It wasn't yours. I don't even want revenge anymore. That's how you know it's over. The next day, I met with Junie in the sound room. She looked nervous, clutching her lyrics like armor. I don't think I can do this, she whispered. I sat beside her. They made you believe that. Not me. What if they're right? They were wrong about me, too. Junie looked up. Were they? Yes. How did you know? Because I kept singing. Even when no one was listening. She took a shaky breath. What if I mess up? Then you get back up. That's the whole point. Junie smiled, a small, flickering thing. Okay. Double quotes later. Kian found me outside, sitting on the fire escape, legs swinging over the edge. Thought I'd find you here. Of course you did. He sat beside me. What are you thinking about now? I don't feel angry anymore. That's a first. I feel light. He looked out at the sky. So what now, Vale? I keep building, with me. I turned toward him. If you stay. He shrugged. I'm not going anywhere. I smiled. Then yeah. With you, days passed, weeks. The label grew quietly. No red carpets. No paparazzi. Just raw voices. Real people. Junie's first single. Dropped. It didn't chart, but it was honest. And she cried when she heard herself on the radio for the first time. You made this possible. She told me. No, I said. You did. I just gave you a mic. Kian knocked on my door one night, holding 2 mugs of tea. Peace offering, he said. For what? For making you stay up until 3 a.m. again. I took the mug. You're forgiven. He sat beside me on the couch. Do you miss a stage? Sometimes, but not the fame. Never. He looked at me. Do you think you'll ever sing for real again? I do. He raised an eyebrow. You already are. No, I said. I mean, just for me. No cameras, no audience. He nodded. That sounds perfect. It is. Before bed, I stared at the mirror. I didn't see the girl who lost everything. I didn't see the girl who burned it all down. I saw the one who survived and chose to build again. Not for applause. Not for revenge. Just to feel whole. Just to feel free. I whispered to my reflection. I found my voice. And for the first time in years I believed it.